9.5 seconds, I'd say.
And the person who did murder the father, and the old man, and I think was the boy, would have had to run down a flight of stairs where the old man saw him.
You see? Now get up. You see? So now both time sequences check. The one that you did and the one that we did. Both running downstairs and everything, it does pretty much check out on time.
Sure, he's an old man who wants attention. He's probably right. But he probably feels the same way the rest of us do. There's a life at stake.
See, that would probably work, except the old man swore on the stand that it was only 15 seconds.
We all seem to agree it was 25 to 30 seconds later.
You have now admitted that the old man told the truth in one case and lied in the other. I do admit that this does tend to prove the case of the old man. But he is now in part a proven liar, and this by your own admission.
You know, it might be true that the old man lied in part, but I think it'll change my vote once more. Guilty. And what about you? What do you think now?
I don't know. At first I was thinking guilty. Then I swung to not guilty. I want more talk, because I'm kind of swinging back to guilty.
And you?
No, there is a small doubt.
I was right the first time. He's guilty.
Now we're making sense in here.
The vote is 9-3 in favor of guilty.
One more question about the old man who lived downstairs. How many of you live in apartment buildings?
I don't know what you're thinking, but I know what I'm thinking.
What is that?
I don't live in a tenement, but it's close. We only have a little light bulb to see the steps, no more. I remember that the murder took place in a tenement. That we can see only, we cannot see the steps.
The police officers were using big bulbs. One even had a flashlight, remember?
How an old man can see a dark figure in a dark hallway?
He was 100% wrong about the time. It took twice as long as he thought.
Maybe he was 100 wrong who he saw.
That's the most idiotic thing I've ever heard. You're making that up out of thin air.
We're a hung jury. Let's be honest about it.
Do you truly feel there is not room for a reasonable doubt?
Yes, I do.
Maybe you don't know what is a reasonable doubt.
What do you mean I don't understand it? Who do you think you are talking to me like that?
No one is asking where you came from.
I was born right here.
Or where your father came from.
Maybe it wouldn't hurt us to take a few tips from people who come running here. Maybe they learned something we don't know. We're not so perfect.
It's fine, there's tons of people like that guy.
It's not all right.
Okay. Okay. I apologize. Is that what you want?
That's what I want.
Gentlemen, please. Let's stop the bickering. Does anyone have anything constructive to say?
Now, something's been bothering me a little bit. The whole stab wound in the direction we made, the whole downward angle of it.
It went over and over that in court. Do you really want to start that again?
Well, I know they did, but I just don't go along with it. So, the boy is 5 feet 8 inches tall, and the dad is 6 feet 2 inches tall. That's a difference of 6 inches. Now, it must be a very awkward thing to stab down into the chest of somebody who's half a foot taller than
Okay,
you.
you're not going to be satisfied until you see it again, so I'm going to give you a demonstration. Come here. I want you to be watching. I don't want to have to do this again. Now, is this 6 inches?
It's more than 6 inches.
I'll let it be more.
Look out!
What's the matter with
That is not funny.
What's the matter with you?
Calm down. No one's hurt, are they?
No, nobody's hurt.
Now, there's your angle. Down and in. That's how I'd stab a taller man in the chest, and that's how it was done. Now, take a look at it. And tell me if I'm wrong. Down and in. I guess there's no argument.
Did you ever stab a man?
Of course not.
Did you?
Let's not be silly.
Did you?
No.
Where do you get all your information about how it's done?
It's common sense.
Have you ever seen a man stabbed?
No.
Well, let me ask you this. This boy was an experienced knife fighter. He was even sent to the reform school for knife fighting. Isn't that so?
That's right.
Well, look at this. Doesn't it seem like an awkward way to handle
No,
a
wait a
knife?
minute. What's the matter with me? Give me that knife.
Have you ever seen a knife fight?
Yes, I have.
In the movies?
In my backyard, on my stoop, in the vacant lot across the street. Too many of them. Funny, I never thought of it before. Anyone who's ever used a switch knife would have never stabbed downward. You can't use it in that way. You use it underhand.
Then he couldn't have made the kind of wound that killed his father.
It's conceivable, but it's not likely. Not if he had had any experience with a switch knife. And we know he had a lot of experience with a switch knife.
I disagree.
So do I. You're giving us a lot of mumbo jumbo.
What do you think?
I don't know.
What about you?
Listen, I'll tell you something. I'm getting a little sick of the whole thing already. Let's just break it off and go home.
Before we decide anything more, I'd like to try and pull this together.
This ought to be good.
You have the right, let him go ahead.
Do you want me to time this one too?
Let's hear it.
Look, I'm in advertising.
I'm used to the big shots, pulling things together. Let's chip up a few shots and see if any of them land on the green.
I want all of you to look at this logically and consistently.
We have.
I want to know, is this kid smart or is he dumb?
What do you mean?
This boy was sent to the reform school for knife fighting. The night of the murder, he bought a knife, a switch knife. It would then take a very stupid kid to go and murder a man, his father, with an instrument that everyone would associate with the kid.
I quite agree. He's dumb.
However, if he were dumb, then why would he make the kind of wound that an inexperienced man would make with the knife?
I'm not sure I understand.
To murder someone must take a great emotion, great hatred. And at that moment, a man would handle the knife as best he could. A trained knife fighter would handle the knife as he had been trained, underhand. A man who had not been trained would go overhand. But the boy is being very smart. He's smart enough at that moment to make the kind of wound that an amateur would make. Smart enough to wipe the fingerprints away. Maybe even smart enough to do the murder while an L train is going by to cover the noise. Now is the kid smart or is he dumb?
Now wait a minute. The woman saw the murder through the L tracks, but couldn't someone on the train see the murder?
A possibility, but no one did that we know of.
Well, take an awfully dumb man to take that chance.
Exactly. A stupid man. A man swept by emotion. He probably heard nothing. He probably didn't even hear the train coming. And whoever did murder the father did it as best they could.
So?
The boy is dumb enough to associate himself with a switch knife. A switch knife murder. Yet at the same time, he's smart enough to make the kind of wound that would lead us to suspect someone else. Smart enough to wipe the fingerprints away. And at the same instant, he's stupid enough to do the murder while a train is going by. Is the kid smart or is he dumb? To make him guilty, you have to say he is dumb from 8 to 12 o'clock, then smart, then dumb, then smart, and then he becomes stupid. So stupid that he can't even come up with a good alibi. Now, is this kid smart or is he dumb? To make him guilty, you must toss his intelligence like a pancake. There is doubt, doubt, doubt.
I hadn't thought of that.
And the old man who lived downstairs, on the stand, he swore that it was 15 seconds. He insisted on 15 seconds. Yet somehow we all think it was closer to 40 seconds?
Yeah, does he lie half the time? Then does he tell the truth the other half the time?
For this boy to be guilty, he must be dumb then smart, then dumb then smart, and so on. And also for the boy to be guilty, the old man who lived downstairs must half the time tell the truth, and the other half of the time he must be a liar. You can reasonably doubt.
I'm sold. Reasonable doubt.
What?
I think I am too.
I wanted more talk.
I want another vote.
Another vote's been called for. I guess the easiest way for us to do this is by raise of hands. So all those in favor of not guilty, raise your hands. Nine. Guilty? 3. The vote is 9-3 in favor of acquittal.
I don't understand you people. How can you believe this kid is innocent? Look, you all know how those people lie. I don't have to tell you that. They don't know what the truth is. And let me tell you, big reason to kill somebody either. You know, they get drunk and bang! Somebody's lying in the gutter. Nobody's blaming them. That's just how they are. You know what I mean? Violence! Human life don't mean as much to them as it does to us. Hey, where are you going? Look, these people are drinking and fighting all the time. And if somebody gets killed, so somebody gets killed. They don't care. Oh, sure, there's some good things about them too. Look, I'm the first guy to admit that. I've known a few who were pretty decent, but that's the exception. Most of them, it's like they have no feelings at all. What's going on here? I'm speaking my piece and you listen to me. They're no good. There's not anyone who's any good. Take it from me. This kid on trial. Well, don't you know about them? Listen to me. I'm trying to tell you something.
I've had enough. If you open your mouth one more time, I'm going to split your skull.
I was just trying to tell you.
All right, everyone, sit down. Now, I believe that this boy is guilty. And to me, the most damning evidence was given by the woman across the street who actually saw the murder. She saw it.
As far as I'm concerned,
exactly did she say?
I have it right here. All right. She said she went to bed at about 11 o'clock that night. Her bed is right next to an open window, and she can see directly into the room across the street. She tossed and turned. She went to bed at about 11 o'clock, and she tossed and turned for over an hour, unable to fall asleep. Finally, she turns her head towards the window, and about 12 o'clock, she sees the boy stab his father through the windows of a passing elevated train. Now, according to this is an unshakable testimony.
That's right, that's the whole case.
Frankly, in viewing this, I don't see how you can vote for acquittal.
What do you think?
Well, maybe. There's so much evidence to sift.
Maybe you can throw away all other evidence. What time is it? 5:15.
I don't think they'll let us go home early. My little girl's got the mumps.
Not a chance.
Can't you see the clock without your glasses?
No, not clearly.
Oh.
Glasses are a nuisance, aren't they?
Yeah.
Well, what do you all do when you wake up at night and you want to know what time it is?
I put my glasses on and look at the clock.
Do you wear your glasses to bed?
Of course not. Nobody wears eyeglasses to bed.
The woman who testified that she saw the murder, she wears glasses. What about her?
Did she wear glasses? Of course she wear. Bifocal. They was strong.
That's right, bifocals. She never took them off.
I think it's logical to assume that she wasn't wearing her glasses to bed. And I don't think she put them on to glance casually out the window. She testified that the murder happened the instant she looked out, and that a split second later the lights went out. She couldn't have had time to put her glasses on then. Now this woman may honestly believe she saw this boy murder his father. I say she only saw a blur.
How do you know what she saw? Maybe she's farsighted. How does he know all these things?
Is there anybody here who still does not believe there is a reasonable doubt?
I will always wonder, but there is a reasonable doubt.
I think he's guilty.
Does anyone else?
No. I'm convinced now. There is a reasonable doubt.
You're alone.
The vote is 11 not guilty to 1 guilty.
I don't care whether I'm alone or not. I have a right.
Yes, you have a right.
Well, I told you, I think the boy's guilty. What more do you want?
Your arguments.
I gave you my argument.
We're not convinced. We're waiting to hear them again. We have time.
What is the matter with you? You gave all the arguments you cannot turn down. A guilty man is going to be walking the streets. A murderer, stay with me.
I'm sorry! I usually don't think I'm wrong, but I guess I was this once.
We're waiting.
You're not going to intimidate me. I'm entitled to my opinion. It is going to be a hung jury, and that is it.
Well, there's nothing we can do about that except hope that some night in the next few months, why, you might get some sleep.
You're all alone. It takes a great deal of courage to stand